My name is Danis Murrellus Criticus, loyal fan of the true captain of the Enterprise, Jean-Luc Picard, owner of a dozen plaid shirts, defender of Tony Collette, and I will give you my thoughts on Gladiator II in this video or the next. Actually, no, in this video. Why would I do it in the next video? That's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. This video is brought to you by Public Rec. Go to publicrec.com and use the code DAN for a special offer, and stay tuned after the video for more info. Hello everybody, and welcome to my review for Gladiator II, which I feel like I'm one of the last people to see, but you know what? You see the movies when you can. This is my last video from my temporary lodgings here. One of the reasons I went out of town for a couple days was to see this movie along with Wicked, which came out here on the channel yesterday, my review of that film. Gladiator II is directed, as the first one was, by Ridley Scott, with a screenplay from David Scarpa, who also wrote last year's Napoleon. Original writer David Franzoni has seemingly stepped away from screenwriting since 2004, but remains on board as a producer for this movie. Paul Mescal stars as Hanno, a former Roman citizen who lives in North Africa with his wife, but is taken back to Rome as prisoner after his home is attacked by Roman general Marcus Acacius, played by Pedro Pascal. Hanno is dropped into gladiatorial combat under the eye of Macrinus, played by Denzel Washington, for the entertainment of Rome's sibling emperors, played by Joseph Quinn and Fred Hechinger. But as Hanno rises up the gladiatorial ranks and civil unrest grows in Rome, he catches the attention of Lucilla, played again by Connie Nielsen, returning from the original Gladiator, who sees in this new Gladiator much of the same fury and passion that drove her former love Maximus years earlier. There are lots of other twists and turns in the plot, some of which have been revealed in the trailers, some of which have not, and I'm not going to go into those, but I think it's safe to say that Gladiator II is very invested in the fact that it's a sequel to the first Gladiator. There are lines and sayings from the film that are spoken out loud by multiple characters. Some of them are even carved into walls. And really what this movie deals with is the idea of Marcus Aurelius's dream of Rome. It's an unrealized dream in this movie, and in fact, Rome is teetering on collapse. I was infamously, in high school and in the years afterward, the guy who thought that the first Gladiator movie was good but not great. I didn't really see the same things in it that made it the favorite film or one of the favorite movies of so many of my friends, and eventually catapulted it to an Academy Award win for Best Picture. But the first Gladiator is undeniably a cool movie with some great scenes and performances, and I would say that much of that applies to Gladiator II as well. The biggest downgrade between the two movies here, I think, is the story. I don't think it's as strong a story as the first movies, and it feels somewhat scattered, as if maybe some of it was cut for time. This is a movie that runs about 2 hours and 20 minutes, but there are some gaps that make me think that there was more shot than we're actually seeing. The two emperors in the movie, for example, feel like find and replace substitutions for Commodus, although neither actor can match, as much as they try, Joaquin Phoenix's work in the first film. And I do think that the tiebacks to the first movie are just a little too much. I'd actually argue that this movie might have worked better, or at least could have worked better, if it had focused a little bit less on the tiebacks to Maximus and the tiebacks to the first film, and a little bit more on the current state of Rome, but as it's developed under the shadow of Maximus. So a less direct role in the film than we actually do see. What really does hold Gladiator together, though, is the action scenes, which are uniformly excellent. I'd say even better than the original, due to the upgrades in technology that we've seen in the last 25 years. Ridley Scott can still stage the hell out of an epic battle or fight scene, and he does so here in gladiatorial combats on land and water, and in an opening siege sequence that mirrors and I think rivals Gladiator's opening battle. We can argue about the quality of Ridley Scott's films, and I have argued in the negative case a few times here on the channel, especially in recent years, but I don't think you can argue about the fact that he is a great film maker. He knows the language of cinema, and he knows how to make a great looking movie, even if what's inside the movie isn't always as good. On the acting front, Paul Mescal was an interesting choice for the lead role. I've loved his work in smaller films like After Sun and All of Us Strangers, but this is quite a jump. Here, he's mainly asked to play stoic and angry in a lot of story beats that are reminiscent of Russell Crowe's in the original movie, and I don't think that he's bad in the film at all, but I also think that he has more range as an actor. I've seen more range from him as an actor, and I think it's largely a function of the fact that the screenplay doesn't really demand of him as an actor as much as we've seen in other movies. I know he's capable of more, and I wish that the movie would have given him a chance to do just a little bit more. Denzel Washington gets the Joaquin Phoenix role in this one, meaning the supporting character who's allowed to do pretty much whatever he wants. I'm a big Denzel fan, and it's fun to see him taken off the leash, really allowed to explore the space, as they said in SNL's Cowbell sketch. I'm not entirely sure that all of his acting choices in the movie work, but they really are entertaining to watch. I mean, Denzel is doing some stuff in this movie that you can tell he just said, you know what, I'm just going to let it fly. Of the rest of the cast, I also enjoyed Pedro Pascal's Marcus Acacius. I could actually see a version of the movie with him in the lead that could hit a lot of the same themes and also work. I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen with this character and was often surprised by the choices that the movie made. Much like Paul Mescal, Pascal is able to do stoic very well, but I think he's given a little bit more on the page to round out his performance. Connie Nielsen is good in the movie, but mainly limited to being a tie-back to the first film. I'm really not sure that either Gladiator film did a lot for her on a character level, but I will say that I think she's good in both movies. Now, as with Napoleon, which, by the way, I think Gladiator II is a much better movie than Napoleon, where this movie really excels is in its technical achievements. Original cinematographer John Mathieson returns for his first collaboration with Ridley Scott since 2010's Robin Hood. Original production designer and frequent Scott collaborator Arthur Max also returns to bring Rome back to life. And as I mentioned, I think the special effects are much more impressive this time around, making the film feel even more real, even if the animal effects are still a little cartoony. The only big missing piece for me was Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer decided not to return to do the music for the movie because he felt like he would be replicating his work or competing with the original score that he wrote for Gladiator. Harry Gregson Williams stepped in and wrote some good music, but it's missing, I think, a lot of the epicness that we saw from the first Gladiator movie. And it's kind of surprising to hear that Hans Zimmer decided not to return because it was a sequel and he didn't want to sort of redo his work, because he's done so many sequels in the past. He did Dune Part 2 earlier this year. I wish that he had maybe not burnt out on sequels as much, maybe, done one less Pirates of the Caribbean movie, or had decided to draw this line in the sand a little bit later, because I think this movie would have been a little bit better with that Hans Zimmer music backing it up. Overall, I think if you're going to Gladiator II, looking for some great fight scenes, solid acting, and a true big screen epic, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. But if you're looking for a continuation of the story that can match the original, I think you might be a little underwhelmed. It's a great showcase for Ridley Scott's talents as a filmmaker. It features some really great action sequences, some strong performances, and some good individual scenes. But in a general sense, I'd say that Gladiator II is good, not great, which, if you're a fan of the first Gladiator film, that might actually be good news for you, because that's exactly how I felt about the first Gladiator. So maybe if I feel the same, thinking that it's good, you might feel the same, thinking that it's great. Overall, though, on my personal rating scale, I am giving Gladiator II a rating of it's good. I think that it's a good time investment for you to see in a theater. It wasn't shot for IMAX, but I saw it in an IMAX theater, and it was great to see on the big screen with the sound and everything else. If you're looking for that epic feel over the Thanksgiving break or in the next few weeks, I don't think you can do much better than Gladiator II. But what do you think? Are you going to be heading out to see Gladiator II? Are you going to do the whole Glickid combo thing like Barbenheimer? Let me know down in the comments below. And before we go, I want to thank the sponsor for this video. This video is brought to you by Public Rec. The holidays mean holiday parties, and people expect you to look your best. But why should you feel like you have to stuff yourself into uncomfortable khakis just to mingle with co-workers or friends of friends who you barely know? Well, you don't have to anymore. Public Rec is here with their Dealmaker pants, which give you the comfort of sweatpants with the look and fit of jeans. Dealmaker pants come in a 5-pocket style just like you get with khakis or jeans, and fabric that's both wind and water resistant, meaning you're good to go no matter what the occasion. And they come in 10 unique colors as well as a wide array of sizes, so you'll definitely find the pair that's right for you. I've got a pair of pants in the mail right now, and I can't wait to get them because there's nothing quite like a pair of undercover sweatpants. I'm actually planning to wear them on my flight to see relatives for the holidays so I can feel good about how I'm dressed, but sit in that cramped airline seat in total comfort. Plus, Public Rec doesn't just have pants, they have a wide variety of high-quality, everyday basics like polos, shorts, and hoodies so you can upgrade your whole wardrobe. Stop suffering in regular pants and give the gift of comfort this holiday season. For a limited time only, our viewers and listeners get 20% off when you use the code DAN at checkout. That's 20% off with code DAN at publicrec.com. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them, so please support the show and tell them that I sent you. Give yourself or someone you love the gift of comfort this holiday. Thanks to Public Rec for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching. Be sure to stay tuned right here for more movie news, reviews, box office, and more. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.